That's good.
Yes, Arsenal get through to the final. It's going to be an Arsenal versus Chelsea final. But before we go into that, let's talk about variety being the spice of life. Let's talk about all European Cup finals will feature English teams. And there's actually a lot of people who are not happy about that in UEFA and FIFA. 4 British teams taking up all spots in the final. Well, I've got a few things for you guys. First of all, they're saying that they're not happy because there's too much money in the Premier League, which there is. But hear this. All the other teams have had an equal amount of opportunities. And I'm talking about Bayern Munich, Juventus, Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG. Does PSG have less money than any of the teams in England? No. Does Barcelona? No. Does Real Madrid? Here's another thing as well. When the Spanish teams got into finals of both the competitions, nobody complained about it then. Nobody said, oh, Spain's taken over football, they're getting more money, because they are getting more money. Now, nobody was complaining about it then. Just because it's the British teams, everybody's starting to run your mouth. Well, you know what? Tough. Deal with it. Everyone had the opportunity to get through to these finals, and they didn't. And the British teams that made it, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool and Spurs, should be applauded. Going out to all you guys, you should all be applauded, because your teams fought hard and beat some great teams along the way. As I said, some fantastic games, knocking out, Liverpool knocking out Barcelona was just fantastic. Obviously Spurs beating Man City, but also Juventus getting knocked out, PSG getting knocked out. All these teams had the opportunity. Arsenal, in their run to the quarterfinals, had to play the favourites, which was Napoli, and then Valencia. None of the pundits ever thought that Arsenal would get through. Not only did Arsenal get through, but in those 2 games against Napoli and in those 2 games against Valencia, Arsenal won them all. They won them all, and convincingly too. When I mean convincingly, Napoli never even scored a goal against Arsenal over 2 legs. And Arsenal beat Valencia 7-3 on aggregate. That's a team that has only lost 2 in the last 22 games at home, and Arsenal beat them 4-2. They've only lost 2 home games in their last 22, and Arsenal went in there under pressure and won 4-2. Anyway, let's talk about the game. We went 1-0 down very early in the 11th minute, and it was just us getting caught napping. Koscielny and Monreal behind the run of play on the counter-attack, which they should never be. Really Monreal's fault for the first goal, and he had a hand. It was him and Klasnach at fault for not getting back onto the line in the second goal as well. So in the second goal, the ball came out wide to the right, and Klasnach and Monreal were caught napping. You got to be switched on all the time. We're talking about Monreal here. He's 32, 33 years old, a seasoned veteran. This isn't a kid coming up from the academy, and you've just got to put it down to him losing a step. He's just now that step behind the play. Koscielny's already 33 years old. These guys just have to be replaced in the summer. There's no 2 ways about it. But let's talk about the game itself. Ozil worked so hard. He had 92% passing accuracy, which was the most on the field. He was one of the only players in the first half that actually didn't give the ball away. And the front 2 strikers, seeing how hard that they worked their absolute socks off. Aubameyang with a fantastic hat-trick, and props to Niles. Niles was getting picked on. He had 2 guys on his side from Valencia attacking down his wing, and really needed help and support and wasn't getting it. There was a few adjustments, and obviously as Guendouzi came on, he helped to fill the gap. It just goes to show you how useless Xhaka is. I can't remember the last time when I saw Xhaka play a deadly pass where I dropped out my seat and said, "Wow, what a ball!" Can you? I can't remember the last time when he played a final ball into the box, which split the defences on the back foot, where you'd have to say, boy, What a ball. What a ball. When was the last time Xhaka did that? So, I mean, I've said this since day one. If you can go back and watch my videos from the start of the season, and I said he's just a player. As long as he's not making a mistake, then he's had a good game. That's the low bar that I've set for him, because he's not adding anything to the game. He's not adding any range, any tackling. Yeah, ever since he led the league in red cards and Wenger said to him, don't go down on your tackles, he's been like a toothless shark. He's got no bite into his game. He doesn't go in and make tackles. He's got poor range. His movement from side to side, trying to cut out plays. He's nothing like what Coquelin was when Coquelin was here and we had the best defense in the league in 2015. His defensive game is just non-existent. He's a passenger as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, he needs to be replaced. There's a lot of players that need to be replaced, and that's on another. We're going to talk about that in another video. But for Emery, that's now what, 19 ties that he's gone through in a row in the Europa League. 19 times. Maybe they should just name the trophy the Emery Cup. You know, for Arsenal though, it's a chance of redemption. The year 2000 to Galatasaray, 1995 to Real Zaragoza, and obviously Barcelona in the Champions League in 2006. That's 3 losses there for the Gunners. It's something that Wenger never won. And to have a manager that's come in and win a European Cup trophy in his first year, well, that'll put a lot right. First of all, you'll get in the Champions League, and secondly, you're lifting another trophy. Arsenal are pretty good at lifting trophies of late. You know, this is what makes the chance of watching a Spurs-Liverpool final so relishing. The fact that neither team has won a trophy in over 11 years. So I think that's going to be a really good game. Overall, really impressed. Man of the match, Aubameyang. You know, 29 goals in all competitions. Only Aguero with 31 has more. And he was just a delight to watch. I really stuck it into him against Brighton with the amount of chances that he missed. But I'm just hoping that these guys get a good break. I'm so happy and just blessed that this team has got into the final. If there's one team that Chelsea does not want to face in the final, it's Arsenal. Because, you know, Arsenal have taken Chelsea out many times. FA Cup, Charity Shields, you name it. You know, Chelsea's defence is questionable at best. So this, as is Arsenal, but Arsenal just have the more firepower up front. Those two guys are accountable for nearly 50 goals this season, and Chelsea just cannot match that result. For them, it's going to be a pretty defensive game, I'm guessing. I think they'll sit at the back and try and get Arsenal on the counter-attack. How they're going to do that with Giroud is anybody's guess. But and with Giroud, you've always got a chance. With Hazard, he's a quality player. It'll probably be his last game. So how's he going to feel about that? They've already qualified for the Champions League. So if this game comes down to heart, there's only going to be one winner, and that's Arsenal. They're just playing for more in this game. And as of this point, I would just put them as favourites, even with their dodgy defence. You know, Chelsea ain't any better. So that's it from me, guys. Fantastic game. Well done to Gooners out there. Big up everybody in the chat. It was a great game thread yesterday on Facebook. Very lively, lots of input. And peace out, guys. I'll speak to you later. All the best. Here we come, Baku. Here we come.